Yeah. Woo-hoo-hoo. It is the great Satan. We're talking about stuff. It says my screen sharing is paused. I didn't want it to do that. Let's see what's going on here. Hey, it's back to doing it. So that's a really weird way for Zoom to do this. I'm joined today with Justin Roczniak.
Hello, it's me. I'm from the internet and the YouTubes and the podcasts.
Yeah, I've been a big fan. Hey, long time watcher, first time talker to her. Since like I think the first Franklin is where I became aware of you. Good.
That was a long time ago now.
Yeah,
you know,
your content
just that little gap between 11 or 10 and 11.
Yeah, exactly. I guess I haven't known about it since that long then. I don't know how long it's been, but it's been a while. I tell a lot of people about you, send your videos all over, especially the Black Wall Street video is probably one of my favorites.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Whatever. One thing I was worried about is I was going to use my screen to look at notes, and it's going to not let me do that probably in Zoom. Let's see what happens if I click a window. Is it going to, hey, it let me. Please move this window.
There you go.
Can you see it?
There's a big doohickey in front of the image now.
Oh, cool.
There's just like a blank spot.
Is that better?
It's still there. Oh no, now it's moved. Now you're good.
Please move this window away from the shared application. Okay, I did. All right. Well, I guess I don't get to use my note. Well, yeah, I'm gonna not use my notes. I'm a big notes guy. I like notes.
Notes are useful. Yeah.
I like to use them. I should have done it on paper. That's what I do when I do the stand-up comedy. I have notes on paper. People say that's not professional, but it's more professional.
Professionalism is overrated.
That's what they say. Yes. Jimi Hendrix tuned his guitar at full volume on stage, so I'm gonna bring notes. So, it was just like, what I got in notes was, you're banned on Twitter, but so I won't be having any links to your Twitter on here because they won't work.
Unfortunately, they don't like me anymore. My posts about trains were too spicy.
Yeah. I think Jack he's like a horse girl.
That'll do it. Yeah.
So they don't like trains.
Well, I mean, it's evidenced by our podcast. Well, there's your problem, where we've conceived of all kinds of horrific ways that horses can get mauled. I assume that was probably influenced the decision to ban me.
I believe so. Yes. Maybe the rat viscera thing. They didn't like that either.
Probably not. No.
Yeah. I don't know how useful it'll be for me to make tons of references to your existing material, but but whatever. I'm assuming if people are listening to this, it's because you're on it, so they know who you are and also like you. So 4-dimensional roller coasters, are you familiar with these? Have you ever heard of these? Have you seen these in the news?
I think I've seen them in Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that you could do that in Roller Coaster Tycoon.
I mean, there's like there's something like it in Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, I think, which is the last one I played.
Cool. I was gonna do research. When I say research, I put that in quotes, and find like one of those YouTube gamers that like makes people die, and then pretend to talk about a fake roller coaster disaster. Like when I was prepping like ideas for this, for having you on to talk, and I thought that would be pretty funny, but they were all so fantastical They would kill like 7 million people in 20 seconds, which I could, to my, the research I could do, I couldn't find any examples of that actually happening. So I didn't think that would be terribly believable, but we have some examples of like 5 and 8 people dying on these things.
Well, I look at this. Is this the thing where the seat like spins around as the roller coaster's going?
Yeah,
In order
that's
to
correct.
provide,
Yep.
that provides more methods by which the G-force can remove items from your pockets.
Correct. Yeah, you shouldn't have anything in your pockets on these, especially a phone, which we'll discuss later.
Phone, a wallet,
iPods, especially anything with a hard drive in it. So don't carry a desktop computer.
Probably unwise.
Don't do that. Cassette tapes would be bad.
Don't bring like a big IBM mainframe on there.
That would be
bad.
Yeah, unless they're celebrating their most recent chess win. It was a nicer joke than referencing the Holocaust, which is another thing I could do in terms of IBM. Anyway,
that was pre-mainframe though. That was like ticker tape or punch card machines.
Right. Yes, they used a hole punch and manually.
It's okay though. They also help with the Manhattan Project. It evens out.
They killed a lot of people twice. It's okay.
They killed a lot of people for both sides.
Right. Exactly. And the only thing that can stop a bad guy with a giant corporation is another.
It's a good guy with a giant corporation.
Right.
Oh wait, they're both the same corporation.
Wait.
Oh God.
Wait. That's not good. So this thing moves your body in 4 dimensions, and the axle that your seat is on can be either kind of crotch-ish level or low hip level or back level. And so that means that you're rotating sometimes off axis of what is comfortable to the human body to rotate, if that makes sense. It's really hard to show this visually. Let me see if it's going to let me move. Oh, it's not letting me show. Okay, cool. Luckily, I have the folder open with the temp. Let's see this. Let's see what happens if I open another one. All right. Can you see this? No, of course not. Why would it work correctly?
No, there's a doohickey in front.
Yep, it's a big doohickey in front too. It does. Okay, wait, it does work the way I wanted it to work. Let me pull this up and then go side. Oh, nope. Zoom. Okay, back to the zoom control. Out of the zoom control, and then it should let me. Hey, it works. Okay, there we go. So now this is it at the top of a spin. This is a different coaster. This is like it's called the Dino. What is it called? Dinoconda. This one's not Dinoconda, it's a different one, but Dinoconda is a Chinese one that's really good, and it moves around in multiple axes. It's not just a vertical, straightforward one. It moves. It actually moves on tracks.
So this is
hither and yon.
This is the part at the top of the loop when the G-forces force everyone's wallets out of their pockets and into a big net under the loop, right?
Correct. This is
and then the theme park just takes that.
Yeah, this is called the fleecing spin. This is where the fleecing
shakedown.
Yeah. It's like kick back but down. So this thing runs. You can kind of see. I don't know if it's showing you my cursor or not, but you can see that it's got multiple sets of wheels.
I can see your cursor, yeah.
You can? Dope. So it's got multiple sets of wheels, like right here, that hold it on the thing, on the 4 tracks. It doesn't have 2 tracks. It has 4 tracks. The reason it has 4 tracks is because it's got strains going both ways. And if you only had 2 tracks, it wouldn't quite be that strong. I'm not an engineer, but you get the idea. And then wheels have to go both underneath it and over the top of it at a diagonal to keep it from throwing everybody down into the net or just up, out, and into the park. Because I think I did a good job
that would be
explaining
bad. I'm
how that
confused
works.
about it being called 4-dimensional, though. I can see like
Yeah, I was really confused by that too.
it sounds like it has 4 degrees of freedom, not 4 dimensions.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it sounds like there's 40 ounces to freedom or other sublime references. I don't know. So aerodynamics, which is a horrible pun, so I took a screen cap of this company's website imagery. Aero is the name of the company, and then they added Dynamics Incorporated, so it's aerodynamics, which is not something you're usually concerned with.
I don't like that.
Yeah,
that makes me angry.
It should. It should not make you happy, that's for sure. Aerodynamics is one of the companies that owns some of the patents for various forms of this thing. Make my notes pop. Okay, cool. There's one type called the Zaxpin coasters, and they call it that because it looks exactly like your ass. No, the Zaxpin coaster. Glad I put that in my notes because it's such a good joke. The Zaxpin coaster is basically they force the spin when you get to the point where you're supposed to spin with magnets, so that the weightedness of each cart doesn't matter.
Oh,
it'll always spin the same amount, and then they kind of like refix when you get done spinning at the end of a thing. They go like, oh, okay, it spins, and then you stop you spinning again and kind of then let go again and let you free rotate. And they had people having horrific crotch injuries with that because it's whipping you. This is a mid-spin upside down car. Can you see that? This is the Dino, what do I call it? Dinosaurus?
Yep.
Robosaurus? Dinoconda. There we go.
New at Cedar Point.
Yeah, exactly.
New at Cedar Point. Ride the sterilizer.
In my research, I did learn that the highest coaster is 420 feet, and it's at Cedar Point.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's something to do with it's something to do.
Isn't that one of the ones where they're just like it just goes up and down, for like the gimmick of being that high, and otherwise it's like whatever.
Yeah, it is basically a 420-foot like sand pit off the corner of one of those highways in North Carolina where the brakes fail on semi-trucks all the time. But instead of a sand pit, it just goes up 420 feet. Because the thing makes you go 120 miles per hour on flat ground. Which doesn't sound...
Good Lord.
Yeah, it doesn't...
Wow, I've gone up.
Yeah, it just accelerates you.
I've gone up, I've gone down. I can achieve this on an elevator.
Correct. Yeah, it's the theme of it is the top fuel dragster. So it's like the NHRA, the North American Hot Rod Association or whatever. They have their artwork all over the thing, and then you get in it, and it just goes on flat ground like a quarter of a mile at 120 miles per hour. And then Vin Diesel is your friend. And then you go up 420 feet.
Yes.
So and then you go right back down, and then the brakes are applied, and then the car has to go to the beginning again. very. It looked like a really silly kind
I
of
was
ride.
gonna say it's very short ride.
Yeah, extreme. I think under 8 seconds, something like that for the main part.
Good
Like,
Lord.
yeah, seems kind of a waste of
You
standing.
can't even enjoy the view.
No, because you're up there and then you're like, well, the ride's over. You've already done the fast part. It's got the brakes on as you come back down. So this is a guy in flip flops.
Imagine the nightmare scenario, like a
What?
imagine the nightmare scenario. You're on the top fuel dragster coaster, and the weight distribution is just wrong. You get stuck at the top.
Yeah, they put all the heaviest people at the back. You got like bodybuilders just hanging out, and then all these little children at the front. And then it gets to the top, and it's supposed to start pulling down.
Yeah.
It just can't do it. And then everyone's making 420 jokes the whole time. And you're stuck there for 3 hours, and no one's having a good time.
Until you get someone's got to get up there with like a big crane and just nudge the train.
A guy just takes a brick and sets it on the front.
Yes.
a gentle brick set. Here we go. This will unbalance it.
Go grab some like t-shirt cannons or something like that and shoot it to the people in the front.
Yeah, or like, yeah, exactly. As everybody's locked in, you can't have one guy move forward a little bit. And you definitely couldn't scooch it. I wonder, I haven't done any research on the word scooching in roller coastering, but I believe there should be, that would be a pretty fun research term, like search term is scooch, in terms of like when people have had horrific roller coaster accidents, how often when they get stuck somewhere, do the police use the word scooching in official documentation of the accident?
If they could just scooch the train up a little bit further. Could you explain what you mean like that? It's an industry term.
It's an industry term. Yeah, it's an industry term is where you make your butt go forward a little bit, but you keep the top half of your body stationary. You plant your feet and then you
all could just scooch a bit forward. Yeah.
A cop is on a bullhorn explaining what scooching is to everybody on the train. Yeah, and say if you're seated next to a small child, please explain to them not to scooch backwards while everybody else is scooching forward. We have to synchronize our scooches. So
I think a more realistic situation is the cops try and shoot the train to scooch it.
Correct. I mean, it would nudge it a little bit.
If you can put enough bullets into the back of it, it would nudge it forward.
If everybody, okay, guys, everybody at once, we're going to shoot this rear holding wheel. And then everything's going to work out just fine. The Mind Bender, that's a lot of people don't know that about the Mind Bender.
Yes.
Is the largest indoor roller coaster of all time. The rear axle came off specifically because the day before the accident, it had stalled at the top of a crest, specifically like we're talking about with the bodybuilders and the children and the scooching, and they wouldn't scooch hard enough. So the cops shot the axle. The Germans blamed maintenance, of course, but it wasn't the maintenance at all. We all know it was the guns. Oh shit! Yes. I just realized you're a Philly guy, and
it turns out you shouldn't.
Oh, go ahead. Turns out you shouldn't.
What? Oh,
Oh,
shit! I forgot what I was going to say now.
oh, shooting
Oh,
it.
turns out you shouldn't shoot high precision theme park equipment.
Yeah, not great. Does not turn out good to shoot load bearing, high precision machined axles. Don't do that. Uh,
Yes. Don't shoot. Don't. In avoiding shooting things is a big policy of mine. I
yeah,
only do it when absolutely necessary.
yeah. Like if landlords exist.
Yes.
This is a pretty good one. So it just hit me all of a sudden that you're a Philly icon, and we're talking about like amusement park rides, which reminds me of one of my favorite songs of all time by one of my favorite Philly bands of all time, the Dead Milkmen's "Stewart." If you're not familiar with it, I'll play us out to a little taste of that.
I,
It's not queued up, but you get the idea.
I am not familiar with it, unfortunately.
It may be before your time. I think you're a younger guy than me, right? You're younger. You're like not. I'm 37.
Yeah, I'm 10 years younger than that.
That's what I thought. Okay, yeah,
Almost a Zoomer. Not quite.
almost
Yep.
made it. So on the screen now,
Managed to squeak out like just under the line. I'm not cringe.
yeah, good. But you're also off Twitter. So even if
I
you
don't
were
know what a
cringe,
TikTok is.
yeah, no, me neither. I mean, I know what it is. I found this giant baby on there. He's really funny. He throws Power Wheel cars all over the place. Very cute, very huge, very funny baby.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's adorable. It's like, yeah, I like it. He's throwing cars around. He's running around in big ass boots. Very cute baby. So this is a shot from one car on a static position on the cart with like a GoPro camera. These next couple of images of the Dinoconda. So this guy in the they're both on the same axis, so they're not spinning independent of each other, but they are spinning independent of every other car on this multi-rail or multi-cart track. Multi-cart, what do you call it? Multi-axle cart thing. So you can kind of see the exposed ball bearings right there. They have to keep those, lubed up real good. So this
Gotta
is the
lube
same.
the balls.
Yeah, you gotta lube the balls. Otherwise, I imagine they would heat up and fail after a day of repeated use. So this guy in the orange jacket, he's having a blast. Here's him having a blast again. So back and forth, they're both having a blast. It's up and down. Here's him moving real slow, then this flat, and then on his back. All different points within the same 5 seconds of video. These are all stills from the exact same video. Okay, come on. Okay, that's all the images I have that are playing in Windows thing, which is great because that's not all the images in there, but that's okay. The other ones are for later. So anyway, this guy, let me pause. Here's what I'm gonna do for 2 seconds. We're gonna not pause share. We're going to pause the recording for 2 seconds so I can, okay. And,
All right, we're back.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're doing now.
Well, so sometimes on an SNS free spin, the boiler can explode.
Well, that's not good.
No.
I do appreciate the idea of a steam powered roller coaster though. I think that's interesting.
Yeah. The other thing we didn't mention about the company that did the Zach spin style, where it was a response to aerodynamics. The Intamin company, not the chip and cookie people, a different company made a different kind. So we'll get into SNS free spins, but they all have the same problem with the crotch. None of them are good on the crotch.
I was gonna say it doesn't look like of the areas I want to be restrained by that's the one I least want to be restrained by.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The
It,
last,
it,
yeah,
I mean, because it reminds me of back when I used to work on high-rise buildings, right? Because, they used to get you, if you're working on a platform on the outside of a high-rise,
right,
you have to get strapped up in the safety harness, right? And of course, the main part of the safety harness, this is what, if you fall off the platform, instead of falling off and dying, you fall 10 feet and then you're stuck there dangling,
right.
right? Which is also not good, because the main part that's supporting your weight at that point are two loops which go right around the top of your hips.
Yeah,
So, you got like 30 minutes to get out of that situation, or bad things happen to your gentleman's bits.
yeah. And you could also lose what do you if you're hung on weird angles too, you can lose circulation to your legs and all kinds of stuff too.
Oh yeah.
That shit
Yeah,
is
not good.
yeah. It's
Don't fall off platforms. Don't ride roller coasters. I think honestly, this is the main takeaway I'm getting so far.
yeah. The riding of roller coasters is not great. So the free spin style where they just go like nuts and you just spin whatever, and then there's carts where you could, like we were talking about with the bodybuilders and the children, stalling the ride out. You could also have a situation where you're supposed to have the cart spin, right? But because there's two rows of riders back to back, if you have a difference in the weight, right, as it sits on the axle, you could have no spin at all.
Oh God.
Yeah,
So
it would
it's supposed to spin. The ride is different every time. Will
yeah,
it be fun? Will you get a horrific injury? No one knows.
right, exactly. And that kind of uncertainty is what makes jazz really fun. Uh, but
This is like jazz, but with injuries.
yeah, it's like CrossFit. That's what CrossFit is, I think.
Yes.
Like you tell
Yeah.
people the gist of the workout and then just let them go.
Well, I mean, CrossFit always results in injuries, though. There's consistency there.
Right, that's very true. It's a matter of when, not if.
Yeah.
So the seats spin freely, right, in the Zach spin, but in the S&S, different several track sections are going to have that system of magnets I was talking about. So that's when you really don't want to have your IBM mainframe around. And that's where the Batman in Texas in 2015, they got that. And they fucked up computers big time with that. Everybody's pocket computers were all fucked up.
Good Lord.
Yeah, yeah, and they didn't fall out of their pockets either. But they all spun. So we got rid of the uncertainty though. That's what the magnets are for. Intamin announced an updated version in 2016 with the same kind of concept as the free spin, but it instead of having everybody's seating joined together, it has them all. You have an axis of rotation at the center of mass for each guess, which improves rider comfort, which is a nice way of saying it doesn't mutilate your genitals.
Well, I think that's a positive addition.
Yeah. The
I
crazy part about that addition is that we're talking about that shit happened in 2016, right? This type of ride was invented. The first patent filings were in 1995.
Well, all right. It took us 20 years to avoid sterilizing every single rider. This is some kind of like, it must be some kind of New World Order like population control thing,
It's
right?
gotta be.
It's like, oh well, we're gonna sterilize everyone who goes to this amusement park.
Yeah, it actually that actually kind of tracks with Q, because what else happened in 2016? The election of Donald J. Kennedy Trump, right?
The tragic events of 11/9. Yes.
Correct. where, yeah, exactly. We were all, we were all really bummed out about it. But it turns out, if you talk to these Q people, he's doing Maoist third worldism.
Yeah, he's definitely mobilizing all the peasant farmers in America. And they're in their, I don't know, jet ski rental places and whatever it is they do.
Mostly lawn care, I think. Right? That's the business, is the lawn care. They do lawn care.
Every single person in these like anti-lockdown protests, they all own a lawn care company. They all own a landscaping company, and all they do is they go and do landscaping for other people who own landscaping companies.
It's just
Right.
landscaping
And
all the way
that's the
down.
entire economy.
Yeah.
That's how all the money moves.
The petit bourgeois of America is just Ford F-250s with like a trailer that has 3 lawnmowers on it.
Yes.
The labor is usually illegal.
Yes.
And if not illegal, definitely underpaid.
Yes.
And then they work specifically for other people that also own Ford F-250s with trailers that also pay substandard wages.
It's instead of, and of course it's all under the table. So instead of taxes, what they're paying is, and trying to minimize the amount they're paying, is just the minuscule amount they pay the day laborers. I don't know where the outside income comes in. Probably from one guy who owns a jet ski rental place, but
yeah, exactly. It's the jet ski rental place guy, and then one of them is a lobbyist for corn.
yes,
In the same neighborhood, you got the corn lobbyist guy, and then
you got the corn syrup lobbyist guy, and then you got the corn ethanol lobbyist guy.
And they actually don't like each other.
Yes, they hate each other.
They're at odds with each other. One of them wants corn to be real expensive, so you don't have to grow so much of it. The other one wants it to be real cheap, so you have to grow a whole lot of it.
Yes. You ever think two pro corn guys would have so different interests?
Right. Yeah. I want the price of corn to be low. I want the price of corn to be high. Yeah. Well, fucking
the real political divide in real America.
Yeah, in middle America, the real argument is corn prices. High v low. So yeah, the original aerodynamics version, which we'll now refer to as the nut crusher, right? We'll call that one the nut crusher style, right? That's the aerodynamics, which is good that we both hate their logo and their pun.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the pun is awful.
Yeah.
It was clever for like 5 minutes after you registered the trademark.
Right.
And everyone was just filled with regret.
Yeah, exactly. They're based out of Utah. And they used to be called Aero Development, but in 1981, someone had the idea for the pun, and they changed it.
Oh my God!
That's what makes it even better. Is this company already existed for 40-something years, and then someone at the company had an idea for a fun pun.
What if we made the name of our company a joke, guys? That'll get them to take us seriously.
Right.
And then afterwards, they invented a roller coaster that sterilizes you.
Exactly. And we'll sell it to China, where they have very few safety standards for amusement park rides.
Yes. That's American ingenuity right there.
It is. Yeah, it's genius. So it's like, it's pretty good. I like it. So then somebody's getting use out of it. I'm almost insulted though that they call that they call the roller coaster, like not the rails on the roller coaster, but the actual cars on the roller coaster. They don't call them cars. They call them trains.
Yes.
And if that doesn't infuriate you.
I mean, if there's multiple cars stuck together, I'll call that a train. That's fine with me.
Okay.
What I'm wondering is, if they get enough of these roller coasters installed in China, would that mean they could finally retire the one-child policy?
Yeah. I think that would do it, actually. I think you're right. But I was thinking about that, It turns out, though, most of the amusement park goers in China are foreign, right? So it's these people that want to go on roller coasters, and they do roller coaster tourism to China specifically to ride illegal roller coasters that would be illegal in their own home country.
Wow.
Yeah, there's like a whole
Wow.
underground thing of it. And it reminded me of that like Todd Barry joke about going to Thailand to not do pedophilia. It was like, I want to go to China. And somebody's like, to do roller coasters? And he's like, no,
No.
I want to see the food or whatever.
I want to see the beautiful. I'll see the Great Wall. I'll. What else is there to do in China? You can see some Chinese theater you don't understand.
Yeah.
You can, I don't know, do communism with Chinese characteristics. And then you can ride some roller coasters with Chinese characteristics.
Right. So the beautiful thing is, if anybody listening automatically had like whatever xenophobic or racist ideas about how dangerous it is to go on these unregulated roller coasters, they're wrong. The deaths that have happened on these rides are almost exclusively in America. And I want to say they had a good one in, let me see if there's any deaths. Where's my deaths link? I know there's been deaths. I just got to find the deaths. Okay, let's pull up here. We're going to do, 4D roller coaster deaths. And then it gives you a list of years, which is pretty tight. No, I meant, what do you mean? No, I meant 4D. Okay, high profile. Yeah, the internet thinks I just mean any roller coaster deaths. Here we go. Nope, that's not deaths. They use the word death-defying to describe every kind of roller coaster.
Well, I would imagine something with a pretty great safety record is pretty death-defying. By that same definition, like just sitting at home is death-defying, which I guess it is right now, since we're all quarantined due to pandemics.
Literally, not going to a restaurant is death-defying.
Yes. I'm constantly thrilled by everything right now. I don't know about you.
Yeah. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yes.
And that's mostly because I'm working out my lower back all the time. I'm doing lumbar kegels or whatever that is, where you tighten your muscles and just hold it.
We'll charge you for the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
Someday, bloody Sunday. Yeah, that U2 song about monster truck rallies is really good.
Yes, that's what that's about. Although monster truck rally accidents are pretty wild. Someone takes a jump wrong and suddenly Gravedigger fulfills its mission by landing in the crowd.
Right. Yeah, no, that would be probably the most boring episode of your podcast ever, because it would be so this happened, everything worked exactly as it was supposed to.
Yes.
And 17 people were mauled by the front right tire of Gravedigger.
It's unfortunate. Shades of the Prince William County Fair. Good times.
Yeah, there was zero accident at all. Everything went completely according to plan, and 17 people died.
This is why I was always more of a demolition derby guy rather than a monster truck rally guy.
Yeah.
Because much less chance of a car flying over the railing and into my face.
Yes, exactly. That is the weirdest thing about, like, yeah, the demolition derby, though, at least the tires are tiny.
Also true, yeah.
You got regular 15-inch wheels. You know, you ride around on 15s, but you keep them clean in the mud, you know, and then smash cars into other cars. Again, that's like a controlled engineering disaster, which means it's not a disaster.
It's true, yes. And the other thing is it gets rid of cars, which is good.
a much more efficient way to get rid of cars than burning them or like even recycling them, right? Is giving them a last little bit because you still get to recycle the car.
This should have been how cash for clunkers worked.
Yes,
Is that
exactly.
you just demolition derby all the cars.
Right. It actually kind of fucked up the demolition derby car market. Did you know that?
I could see that, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
I
it
was
fucked up
talking.
the whole used car market.
Yeah, it fucked up the whole used car market, but it completely tanked like the used police car market because it's like if you could get, not a Chevy Envoy because that's like a crossover, but if you could get like a Tahoe that's not a XL Tahoe, like a short wheelbase Tahoe with like a 5.7 liter V8 in it, that's got a lot of mass, so it would like really fuck up everything in a demolition derby compared
Yeah.
to like a Crown Vic, you know. So it made it like anything goes. But on a positive note, it also kind of made it changed lemons racing too, which is another great thing to do with cars that's not getting to work in them.
If you can find a car for $500 these days, sure.
Right. Well, down here it's crazy. Down here you can find all kinds of shit for $500.
That's true. I mean, you do just have to look. I have never actually looked for a car because I'm city scum. But
right. I mean, that's good. That's the way to be. But down
yeah,
here you're pretty much forced to. I'm liking this. Like, I like seeing the whole like everybody works from home thing. I'm interested to see what this does to used car prices as well.
oh yeah. I mean, that'll be interesting to see if maybe people use cars less at the end of this,
Yeah.
or maybe not. Who knows? Maybe everyone will only use cars in public. We'll have a nice used bus market.
Right. Which that could put a really big damper on the housing market because a bus would be a sweet house.
A bus would be pretty good. Train car also good.
Yeah. A buddy of mine from down here, he works in Jersey, but he's from Dothan, which is really close to Montgomery, as an Alabama, but 2.5 hours, 3 hours from Alabama in Montgomery. But anyway, he he's a rail guy. That's like what he does for a living. He works on rails, and he's been trying to find a car, not like a vehicle car. He has a bunch of those, but like a train car to live in to get moved to his house in Dothan, like to his land or whatever.
Yeah.
But so far it's pretty tough to move a train car that's been retired and moved far away from rails.
Oh yeah, that's always the big issues. You go on like God's own website, ozarkmountainrailcar.com, and you're like, oh,
Yes.
I could get that for like $15,000. That's not bad for a train car.
Right.
Oh, I got to ship it somewhere.
Right. You'll spend 45 shipping it.
Yeah.
What you got to do is trick Ozark Mountain Rail Company into starting an Amazon store, and then you pay for a Prime membership.
You get a prime shipped rail car.
Yeah. You go on Amazon and you make Donald Trump make the post office do it. Or Bezos or whoever actually does. I don't know who's fucking who in that situation. I'm pretty sure Bezos is the one making the money. I don't know why I said Trump. He's the one mad about it.
Yeah, I mean, if you can ship anything in the mail.
Right.
If you people have shipped buildings in the mail before.
Yeah.
But I imagine you're gonna have to put a lot of stamps on it.
Yeah, on a building.
Yes.
The building's mostly stamps at that point.
Yes. It's reinforcement.
Yeah, I was in back when I was like a car nerd. I mean, I still kind of am, but like, I like cars in like a romantic kind of like the way I like art, so I like rat rods, but not traditional rat rods, but like Japanese cars that are just rusted,
Oh yeah.
So like that's a aesthetic that I like. And I had like a pop-in steering wheel that a guy needed, and I was like, yeah, I'll send you that. And I just had it sitting around and I didn't want it anymore, so I was going to send it to him. And he like, DM'd me his address, and it was like, not in America. So when I went to check the price of shipping it, it was like $400.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I was like, sorry, man. I was gonna, I wasn't gonna charge him any money for the thing, but I was like, I'm not sending you this. You could buy one locally, probably a lot less.
Yes.
So just do that. Yeah, shipping is gnarly. So the train, not the yeah, they call it the train on these stupid roller coasters. The features of the original one had seats that were capable of they roll back and forth 360 degrees in a controlled spin. The other was the other thing that I was talking about. So yeah, the plan when I originally asked you to do this, and which I've completely thrown away, right? I've thrown away the plan because it was a funny in my brain plan, right? What I was going to do was take this kind of roller coaster and then the mind bender story, right, of the loop, the 85 Galaxyland Park accident. Yeah. In what do you call it? It was in Edmonton Mall in Canada. And what I was going to do, because it killed 3 people and injured 20 people. So I was going to like inflate the numbers of dead and decrease the number of injured. And I figure if you get hit by a 4D roller coaster, you're not going to get injured.
Oh yeah, you're just gonna get like murdered, like super murdered.
Yeah, you'd get dead. Yeah,
you'd be so dead they'd have to count you twice.
Yeah, exactly. The 3 dead are actually 6 dead separate bodies. We call them 6 corpses now.
Well, we actually don't know because everyone just got, eviscerated into like pasta sauce from being hit by this thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a spinning cart. So It doesn't stop moving when the cart hits something. It's still got more different moving momentums. It's like getting hit with a gyroscope.
There's like 100 places you could get your finger caught in on these things. That's what would worry me is like, if I'm like, happy and excited and put your hands up when you're doing going down the hill, and then like you accidentally stick it into a moving part and then suddenly your hand comes off.
Yeah, that's the terrifying part about those images from earlier is those exposed ball bearings, right? I know in my head.
I don't want to be anywhere near that.
Nah, fuck that. That's 6 feet away from your hands. It still scares the living shit out of me. Like, what if you could maybe reach it, that Dead Milkman song I was talking about, it kind of has that same concept. It's literally got that in there. I can't believe I didn't think of that sooner. Yeah, it's crazy that you've never heard that living in Philly. Because it is one of those, like, I'm gonna have to hit play and then immediately hit pause so it doesn't start making noise. Oh, there we go, it worked. So I'm gonna mute it just in case, move it a couple inches in. But yeah, Stewart by the Dead Milkman. I was like maybe 10 when I heard it. So it's like a early 90s, maybe late 80s kind of song.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like got spoken word. It's not really spoken word. He's like singing, not singing, kind of King Missile-ish, if that makes sense. And it's this guy.
I do know King Missile.
Yes. Yeah. I was a big King Missile fan as a small child. It influenced the way that I did music for a long time was by just doing stand-up comedy while playing guitar.
Also relevant to the crotch restrained roller coaster is detachable penis.
Correct.
Yes. That would solve a lot of the problems, actually.
You just leave it with your cell phone in a bag.
Yeah.
in your IBM mainframe computer. Here, sir, could you handle this? This is my mainframe computer, my cell phone, my iPod, and my penis.
Yes, we'll put it with the other penises, sir.
And then it gets mixed up at the baggage claim, and then you've got someone else's penis, and you have to find them.
I was about to say, yeah, you should have got your name tattooed on it, just so you remember which one it is, or you can identify which one it is.
Yeah. I actually, I got, instead of my name on mine, I got extracalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Ah, yes.
When I tell people that, they find it hard to swallow.
Ha 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 ha.
That's
Joke about having a big dick.
it's a big dick joke. I got a lot of big dick
Yes.
jokes. I, I believe that stand-up comedy and comedy in general would be better if everybody just made jokes about giant dicks
Yes.
or very small dicks or middle-sized dicks.
Too much politics in comedy these days.
Right.
Joke about dicks.
There should be more poly dicks.
Yes. Jokes about having multiple dicks.
That's
It's
actually
apparently a real thing.
Yeah, there's people with like 2 and there's people with like 3, and there are people that look like Cthulhu.
Good Lord.
Yeah, that's too many dicks. Like
Yeah. So there's a point at which there are too many dicks.
right. I think 2 is enough.
Yeah, let's not get ridiculous about this.
Right. 2 is plenty. That is
Yes.
plenty dicks. You got to do stuff with both of them conceivably. You got to do stuff with one of them, or maybe you don't have to do stuff with either one of them, I guess. But then you got to find underwear that'll hold both of them in, because one of them's over the top of the other. They don't go side. Well, I guess they could go side by side.
At some point, there would just be like, it would just start getting in the way of each other.
Yes. Do not Google image search 2 dicks. With the family filter on, it is not a Google that you want to do. There's guys with them over the top of the other, one, and then the other one's up underneath it. And then there's ones that are side by sides. And one of them, this one's my favorite, only one of them was circumcised.
Yeah, I'm half Jewish.
Is Lenny Kravitz. He wrote Lenny on one and Kravitz on the other. Like those knuckle tattoos that say girl dick. Yeah, I love it. That's good. Yeah, that's really funny looking. He's holding the foreskin of one out. He's just like pulling it away from the other one by the foreskin, and then the other one's not necessarily bigger, but different looking. Yeah. Here's the other. Yeah, this other guy also. Yeah, one of them doesn't get as much blood, I think, so it's kind of not as good. It's not as good a dick, I guess. I
gotta use my good dick for this one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want if you were doing like prostitution, with your 2 dicks, and you could tell them not to pay you as much for the for the little one, you could charge less money.
Yeah, I have 2 dicks, but I have erectile dysfunction on one of them.
Yeah. I'm sorry, baby.
Good,
this never happens to that one. It's very common for the other one, but for this one, it's usually not that. That's not how it happens. It's usually right on time. Oh man, that's awful.
Many issues with having. You think having 2 dicks is a good thing, but then you learn about the problems.
Right, exactly. Your brain goes to, man, wouldn't it be nice to have all them extra dicks? And then you never start, you never start to wonder about what could go wrong.
The human body is designed to maintain 2 dicks at most.
It's not good when you get too many dicks in there. I mean, no, in there it's fine. You could put multiple dicks in there, but
Yes.
on there is what I mean. You could have 7 or 8 dicks in there, I guess.
Well, at
But
that point, you need like the Lance Armstrong, like increased heart and lung capacity to maintain them, as
right,
well as doping.
yeah,
And
you got to shoot up chimp semen to keep your dicks hard.
oh god,
We're this is the Great Satan. We are a Lance Armstrong truther podcast. We believe that Lance Armstrong was innocent and that doping is good. Actually,
yes.
I'm a firm believer that chimp semen should be legalized because it comes from the earth.
It's a natural ingredient.
Chimp semen, it comes from the earth, man. So it's gotta be good, you know.
Comes from the earth by way of chimps.
Right, of course. What are you gonna not? What you got to count the chimp, but they give it up willingly. If you
Yes.
ask them politely, they'll just give it to you.
Well,
So it's non-coercive. It's not like honey, or it is. Yeah.
Primates are one of those species that has learned to masturbate and likes to do it a lot. So
Yeah, like a crazy amount. I kind of
yes.
wondered if early primates, before all the different splits and cousins and different, then speciation and all that. So like, I don't know, 7 years ago, like a really long time ago. If they fucked a whole lot, or prostate cancer didn't exist yet.
I would imagine both.
Yeah.
Well, prostate cancer probably existed, although I'm not a veterinarian. I don't know how prostates work. I don't know how prostates work in general, but
right.
It was not my degree.
They work by well, actually, here I've got a Wikipedia article on it right now. See, on the evening of the 14th of June, 1986, the fourth car of a train traveling midway along the course derailed before encountering the third and final prostate.
I see. That was another one that was taken out of commission by the restraints, I would assume.
Yes. So you got to keep your prostate constrained and restrained. Both. And then also, if your car becomes unbalanced and stuck, you don't let the cops shoot your prostate.
This is getting confusing.
I'm trying to make all the callbacks happen. I'm used to doing live stand-up comedy. When you do live stand-up comedy, you're supposed to do callbacks, right? You got
yes, right.
Things you talked about at the beginning of your set, and then you talk about them getting close to the end of the set, right? So then when you go, then when you say a thing that's not like a joke, right? But you close with it and it murders because it was a thing you said in the setup to the first joke you told.
Ah, yes. That'll do it.
Right? That's how the greats do it. And by the greats, I just mean Cat Williams. He's the only good comic. Every other comic is awful. He's the Platonic ideal, like the Plato talked about the chair, the design of chairs. Cat Williams is that chair.
So the Platonic ideal of the chair comedian.
Of stool fucking, yes.
Yes, of, I don't know, Clint Eastwood pointing at it and yelling.
Oh, damn. How did I not get there? Holy shit. That's one of the greatest concepts ever. Here's what I'll do. When we get off this call, I am going to make you that meme. Not that you have a Twitter to put it on, but
yeah.
But I'm going to make it for you. And it's Cat Williams pointing. It's got to be Clint Eastwood doing the pointing speech, but it's at a stool and Cat Williams is fucking the stool. Yes. It's the perfect meme. It would have been, goddamn. I wish we'd thought of that in, what year did Clint Eastwood yell at that chair?
Like 1800 and something, I think.
Yeah, I think it was 86. I think it was after he got off the mind bender. That would be, I almost went kind of an ableist place with his dementia on that, the mind bender roller coaster. And
it was 2012.
Yes. It seems like a billion years ago.
Yes.
It seems like chimps hadn't learned to masturbate yet or give us any of their semen to shoot into our arms to have increased lung capacity.
For our multiple dicks, yes.
On the next episode of Doping for Dicks. Oh, man. Justin fucking Roczniak, thank you for being on the show. We didn't really get to any of the real stuff because I'm bad at podcasting.
Oh, that's fine. I'm bad at podcasting too. Thanks for having me on.
You're my favorite podcaster by far. Twitter needs to give you a Twitter back. How do we get Twitter to give you a Twitter back? Or should we just tell them to fuck off, or like what? I
appealed, and when I appealed, they deleted my backup account. So need to convince them, I guess, that I am not capable of carrying out the Punic Wars on anyone, despite threatening to do it.
You don't have enough dicks to do a Punic Wars.
I do not. I don't have enough dicks to do a Punic War. Only have the one, unfortunately.
I think you need 4 to do a Punic War. Because you
need a couple of Roman legions worth of dicks, right, in order to do it properly.
And then you go 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a Punic War, but it's with your dicks.
And then you burn their fields and salt the earth. Yes.
See, I don't see why that's such a credible, well, not even credible threat of violence. That's not even a threat of violence because you're not the one doing it. The legions are doing it. They're independent people with wills of their own, right? So, like, Alex Jones wasn't deleted for saying that, like, I don't know, before the lawsuits, of course, but he used to tell people that, like, somebody needed to something, right? And it would be fine because he was just saying into the ether that someone should do a thing, you know. I don't know. I'm getting into a weird slippery slope kind of place here, and we're basically going to accidentally say that George W. Bush did nothing wrong if I'm not.
Yeah. Well, I think the conclusion is Twitter bad.
Yeah, Twitter bad. Trains good.
Train good.
Roller coaster pointless but fun.
You go in a circle, like I don't get it.
Yeah, it's not my cup of tea, but I don't want to bring roller coaster Twitter at me.
Oh, those people are weird.
I'm sure roller coaster Twitter is the worst group of people. And the best. I mean to say the best group of people. Please don't.
Yes.
I don't want to like incur their ire. I don't want any of them to do the Punic Wars on me. So, again, Justin Roczniak, I'm going to put links to your YouTube channel and stuff in the description, so anybody that's listening to this can check you out if they don't already know who you are. Thanks again for being on. Appreciate it.
No problem.
And
thanks for having me on.
Thank you. All right. Bye, man.
All right.